Evil Planet.
I saw your leaked sex tape. You said a lot of naughty words. A lot of naughty words were said. Didn't he
see
fuck
Hulk Hogan? He said the N-word on tape. It's not good.
Not good. But let's be real. Who hasn't said the N-word on tape?
Folks,
I
not
certainly
good.
can't blame him.
I can't
I like
blame
the
him.
wrestling though. It's very nice.
I
Got our big
remember
boys. They're
was there
oiled
one
up.
time. I was featured one time.
I was there when he picked up Andre the Giant. He slammed him.
I was there at Super Slam. It was an incredible day. Many people remember it was incredible.
I could totally imagine him just talking about it during one of his like rallies. Talking about like WWF.
He's in the Hall of Fame, technically.
They're really right wing. So
I feel like sports in general is, which is pretty sad. Like MMA, especially like any kind of like physical like fighting sport. A lot of right wing guys in those circles. Very weird. Like I was in a BJJ class and a lot of like Joe Rogan heads there. Very strange.
Can't believe these guys that have repeatedly been hit in the head have these dumbass views. Listen to idiots all day. Makes no sense.
Fucking ape.
What's going on here? All these fucking meatheads listen to Joe Rogan all day. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It was funny when Sean Strickland. By the way, Sean Strickland is total chud. By the way, Sean Strickland just gave Sneeko brain damage. That was great.
What did he beat his ass?
Great.
I don't pay attention to Sneeko.
Yeah, so Sneeko was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go challenge Sean Strickland, an MMA fighter, 1-on-1," and Sean Strickland literally was like, "You can't fucking hurt me." He didn't even throw a punch for like the first minute. He was just dodging and weaving and like blocking his punches with his hands. It was like, "What are you gonna do, Sneko?" or some shit. He was disrespecting him, mispronouncing his name. And then he was like, "I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to get your best shots in." And Sneeko's like gas, and then he's like 10, 9, 2, 1, and then he just starts beating his ass so hard that he gave him fucking brain damage.
Dude, I love that. It's like the ultimate power move when you're beefing with them or you're arguing with them online or something. You just mispronounce their name intentionally, like over and over in different ways. Like they're just too irrelevant for you to even acknowledge what their name is. You saw Norman Finkelstein do this when he was talking to Destiny. He's like, Mr. Borelli, Mr. Botticelli. He just kept mispronouncing his name. I think it was intentional.
I think Botticelli is a better name than Bonnell.
Mr. Bonnell. Yeah.
I'm not really a debate bro kind of guy. At one point I was like trying to get into like debate bro shit. I used to
listen to a lot of it.
Yeah, I just, honestly, like blood sports were funnier.
Yeah, blood sports is entertaining. Like when Destiny would just take on 4 people at once in the fucking kill stream, like
I was never into the debate stuff personally. Never into the stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it. I tried to, just couldn't, because I thought that like being good at it was like when I was like a teenager, like a young man. I thought that like being good at debating meant that you were smart, And now, like that I'm older, I realize like, okay, you can be a good debater and you can be dumb as shit. Just have some of the worst opinions ever, but like if you can spin it the right way,
There's being wise, there's being intelligent. And then there's people who are basically just operating on pure rhetoric.
That's what I was thinking. Bosch is also a debate bro, technically. So
that's how he got his start. Yeah.
Oh,
epic.
I can't stand it. Goes into what I was saying too, though, about how a lot of it is just based on rhetoric. You're not really like, I'm going to have the best points. I'm going to figure out what they might say, and I'm going to have counter arguments. It's not necessarily about that. Like maybe that's a component, but the primary component is how can I kind of run circles around this person and make them look stupid, even if the point I'm making, like regardless of whether the point I'm making is actually a good point. Like how can I epically own this person?
Yeah, you got to make them triggered. You got to get them like super pissed off,
Agitate them.
Like you can be like a huge, chud, but you can be like really good at debating. Yeah, and just trigger people, just by saying dumb shit like
I'm a white guy.
Here's the thing too. A lot of these guys like Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro, that's why they love going to college campuses.
Yeah, they like debating young people who they have ideas in their head, but they just don't know how to effectively, argue them.
Here's the thing. They're the ones who are filming these events.
Yeah,
and they're editing and uploading the videos. So even if somebody owns them, they can just cut it out. Well, we may as well get to the intro here. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the inaugural episode of Evil Planet, the new show that I am doing with Tryptamine and Gord here. I am Wizard. Some of you may know me from the other content, the other shows that I do here on YouTube. Some of you may be new viewers. If that's the case, welcome. We decided to kind of start this as we'd been doing politics, news-based content, kind of covering that and talking about that for a while, but decided to branch out into a new show that's dedicated to just doing that. And we've got some stuff that we're going to talk about today. We're also just kind of going to hang out and banter a bit. But yeah, how are you both doing today?
Pretty all right. It's my day off, so yeah, I'm doing pretty good. After working for, felt like more than 6 days straight, because that one day off was just nothing, basically.
If you're working 6 days straight, then one day off it's fucking nothing. Especially because you gotta do on that day all the shit that you couldn't do on the other days. You gotta do your laundry and all that shit, so then you're like, I got no time today.
Yep.
I just got done working. I pulled a 16-hour shift in coal mines. Very tired, very hungry, very underpaid. I've got black lung.
Virginia's the home of the coal mines.
Yeah, the whole Appalachia area, and also it is pronounced Appalachia. It's not pronounced Appalachia. I had to learn that when I moved here because my girlfriend would always correct me, and it's everywhere other than Appalachia says Appalachia.
Everyone mispronounces it.
Yeah, technically. Even I wouldn't be surprised if Ohio governor, he is the governor, J.D. Vance, Trump's running mate, declared running mate. I wouldn't be surprised if that motherfucker mispronounces it, and he claims that he is Appalachian. He looks like a very weird individual. He's almost like Homelander from The Boys meets Charlie Kirk. He looks very strange. He has Charlie Kirk small face syndrome. Very odd. Have you seen pictures of him wearing a guy liner?
JD Vance?
Yeah, he wears eyeliner.
Wait a minute. I think I heard somebody talking about this.
Yeah,
I could totally see that.
I know this is going to be cut up, but we were talking about TikTok earlier. This is how I found out that he wears eyeliner.
Wait, hold up. I need to pull this story because I saw this earlier today. One sec.
He openly feels like a woman?
Something like that. I'm trying to use keywords here.
Okay. Maybe he meant this in a different way.
Hold on. I got to look at my Twitter.
So while you're pulling that up, do you guys know anything about JD Vance other than he wrote a book called Hillbillyology or Hillbilly Elegy or something?
Yeah, it got turned into a movie. He's basically a little toady of Peter Thiel and another guy. Kind of tech bro, right wing, insane people, kind of in the vein of Elon Musk, but Elon's his own kind of unique weirdo. But they're similar in the way that they have all this fucking money, and they're going around trying to influence not just politics and culture, but they're actively trying to grab the wheel and fucking steer. With Elon buying Twitter, JD Vance is kind of caught up in all of that. And I think more than anything, he just really wants power. But he's also he's very strange. He's an incredibly weird person. He totally lacks charisma.
Didn't Elon, I'm sorry to go on a tangent, but didn't Elon say he built a supercomputer or some shit, but it was really just a Dell with a different casing?
I did not hear about that, but that is hilarious. That That sounds like something Elon would do.
I heard some shit like that. I know he sued basically like a bunch of his different companies like that he was a part of, like PayPal, and now he renamed Twitter to be X.
Here's the thing with, by the way, I just found the article, but to respond to what you're saying, give some context. So from what I understand, Elon Musk originally wanted to call PayPal X.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think that was the origin of it. Elon Musk has had this weird fetish for wanting to name things X for a long time. And he finally got his wish, but it wasn't through like creating a new company and being like, I have this new company, it's called X, which would already be stupid.
He had to buy a popular social media platform and then just drive it into the fucking ground and then rename it.
The social media platform that has probably the most, not just like recognizable, but successful branding. Like they were like, we are going to call our posts tweets. And everybody went along with that.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, this is stupid. You know, it's just like, it just became a thing.
Yeah, and people still call it Twitter to this day. I still call it Twitter.
No,
yeah, like Jared calls it X. It's the only person that I've heard.
He still calls it Twitter too. He says that he uses
interchangeably. Yeah, yeah. Even when newscasters are talking about it or referencing it, or pretty much anybody these days who's in any sort of official or kind of like quasi. Excuse me.
Yeah, I usually hear them say like X, formerly Twitter.
Yes, the website formerly known as TwitterX.com.
It's like the artist formerly known as Prince.
By the way, in one of like JD Vance's ads, he he lied about like his mom getting like killed by an illegal like immigrant.
Huh?
Like completely unhinged. Yeah.
What the fuck?
He he claimed that like that happened, but she actually just like died of something, you know, like health related.
An illegal immigrant was her doctor. It was malpractice done by these illegal immigrants.
So I have the article here. This is JD Vance's blog from 2005 tells of an emotional day where he felt more like a female than I ever have or will, and explains that he can't watch the Zach Braff film Garden State because, quote, New Jersey's landscape is so much like Ohio's. The music is so relevant to my life right now, end quote.
Okay. All right. So he was in his emotions. I don't necessarily think that makes you a quote unquote female. You know, like right wingers have this really weird.
This is not a good look for the right wing, though. Somebody in the right wing.
No. Yeah. But still, like, right wingers have this like weird idea that women are the only people that can get emotional. But like, if you look online, like you'll see like men getting overly emotional and throwing shit fits about things like all the time.
Well, here's basically the key to understanding this. For men, the only acceptable emotion is anger in their mind. Okay. And if you have any other emotion that isn't like some other like subset of like anger or frustration or, you know, something that's like a basic common, like even basic shit where it's like, oh, you know, like I'm feeling camaraderie with my fellow male friends, like that's gay. Like everything's like you have feelings, that's gay.
You have to be a stoic Sigma 24/7.
Yes.
You know how tiring that sounds? You can't feel joy, you can't feel happiness, you can't feel love.
It's also just like coping based on insecurity. Like what is more sad at the end of the day than twisting like what your real personality is or how you actually feel about things so that other people, particularly other men, don't make fun of you or call you names. Like that is truly, in my mind, one of the most pathetic things that you can possibly do to yourself.
You know, actually, if I'm allowed to branch off from this,
Sure.
I sent you a article about Grindr at the RNC.
Yeah, we can segue right into that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a perfect example of hiding your true self. How often they hold the RNC convention? Like every 4 years?
I believe so. I don't think they do it for the midterms.
So every 4 years, a group of guys, Republicans from across the country will coalesce into one giant arena, and they will basically download Grindr, create a burner profile, and they will just be having gay sex.
They're looking for gay sex. So I have the article here. Are hookups on the rise during the Republican National Convention this week? According to Google search trends, that has been one of the hot topics on people's minds in Milwaukee, particularly regarding gay dating app Grindr, which has seen a flood of unconfirmed reports that it's continually crashing during the convention. There's a video, I don't know if you sent it to me or you saw it, but I saw it, and it was a guy who's at the RNC. He's like in a room where they're having an event, and there's a like giant crowd of people, and he's swiping through Grindr.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they show like distance on a lot of dating apps, like, oh, this person's like 15 kilometers from you or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like 10 feet away, like 20 feet away, 50 feet away, 15 feet away, 18 feet away, and it was just like all these people in the room with the Grindr
all
app.
These bunch of profiles with no face pic.
Yes, no picture, nothing. One user, here we go, the article here says, one user in Milwaukee said there has been a major bump in anonymous users. This is a quote here. On any given day, you'll go on there and see a headless torso or blank profile. They did not want to be named. They explained that the profile typically means a user is looking for a fling and not a relationship. The user then said on a normal day, you'd encounter maybe 10 users with no photo. But on Thursday, when he checked the app, he said he stopped counting at 50 blank profile photos. If that's the case, it aligns with Grindr activity during previous national conventions. After the 2016 RNC in Cleveland, a Vice article that cited sources from Grindr said the area around the 2016 convention's main hub saw user traffic increase by 66%. Other Grindr hotspots like Times Square, Capitol Hill, Disneyland, and South Beach, Florida saw no comparable increase in user traffic at the time. So yeah, kind of just, not even deniable right there.
Yeah. So if you're a gay man and you just really want to suck a lot of cock, every 4 years is basically like a holiday to you now. You just have to go fly to wherever they're hosting the RNC, and you can just get fucked all day.
In the article here, it literally says, I think it was like an executive at Grindr. They're saying the Republican National Convention is essentially their version of the Super Bowl. That's literally what they said.
Dude, I'm surprised that like Republicans haven't tried to frame being gay like in like the Roman sense of being gay or like the Greek sense of being gay. Like if you're pitching, then you're not really gay. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. I guess there are a lot of Republican bottoms.
This is true.
Can you confirm that?
No.
Okay. Well, I
still
believe you.
Experience. I mean, you can just tell a lot of them are bitches. Like fucking Steven Crowder.
Yeah.
That guy definitely takes it in the ass.
Dude, remember when Steven had to like say that he was going back to his bisexual phase or something, or he's fighting against his old bisexual self?
I was bisexual only in college, though. It was just a phase.
It was only a phase. I was just trying. I was curious. Who isn't curious every once in a while?
I had the gay sex. I determined it wasn't for me. But, something that everyone does. It's like, Steven, it's not something that everyone does. You
got to try, give it a try, like, at least a good, 20 to 30 times before you can really, figure out whether or not you like having gay sex.
Yeah, I can't say I was too surprised when it came out that Steven Crowder was going around the Louder with Crowder studio and just putting his nuts on everyone's fucking head.
You should hit up JLP.
Just you like getting nut tapped? So we have these Trump posts here from Truth Social where he's coping hard about Biden dropping out of the race.
Yeah, you got to read it in his voice.
So we're forced to spend time and money on fighting crooked Joe Biden after he polls badly, after having a terrible debate and quits the race. Now we have to start all over again. Shouldn't the Republican Party be reimbursed for fraud and that everyone around Joe, including his doctors, and the fake news media knew he was not capable of running for or being president. Just ask. He puts just asking, and then he puts a question mark, like just asking. Like, I don't know, Donald. I guess.
Very smart. Very good punctuation.
Stable genius.
The best punctuation.
So this is him of the span of like several hours just tweeting. Or not tweeting. God damn it. Truthing, I guess, on Truth Social.
Last one.
Yeah, it's just a wall of coping and seething and molding.
Well, the thing is, this is a chronological feed, so you have to read it from bottom to top, really, which makes it even funnier. So the first Truth Social post here, the first truth we have is Biden never had COVID. He is a threat to democracy.
Okay. I've heard
I like how we just have the same reaction, just like, okay.
Yeah, I heard that there were like COVID truthers. Like, Biden having COVID doesn't really mean anything. You know, I don't think that really decided his stepping down.
Gord, everyone knows COVID stopped existing about a year and a half ago when people stopped talking about it.
You never had COVID. You just don't want to come out and face me like a real man.
A lot of conservatives were saying, "Oh, Joe Biden's dead," and they're doing like a weekend at Bernie thing where they have Biden's Twitter. You know, they're logged in when Biden's fucking just already dead, and they're like, "Oh yes, now Kamala, she's anointed." But Biden came out like yesterday or the day before or something, and he's like, "Yeah," or today, I think. I don't know. It was in the last day or two. He made an appearance. He's like, "Yeah, I'm still fucking alive. You know, I'm not dead. I'm sick. I'm resting. I'm an old man."
Wiz, that was CGI.
Oh yeah, sorry, excuse me. Yeah,
that was a deep fake.
That was the Biden clone. So here we have our next truth from Truth Social. Who is running our country right now? It's not Crooked Joe. He has no idea where he is. If he can't run for office, he can't run our country. 3 exclamation marks.
Okay, so Kamala can just take over, and you can still run against Kamala.
That's why we have the vice president. You know, like, come on.
Yeah.
This is just like a common thing. It's like you have a backup in case like your guy gets shot or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's like the president, the Speaker of the House, the president pro tempore, right? There's like a chain of command of guys that could potentially become president.
It's really funny too that Biden's dropping out of the race. He's not resigned. And now it's like, you know, kind of passing the torch to Kamala. Well, no, but the funny thing is that I was going to bring up is that a lot of conservatives are screaming on fucking social media saying, "Oh, this is unfair. This is a coup." It's like, what?
Yeah, they're saying they're cooing President Biden.
Like, first of all, why do you care? And the obvious answer is, you know, they don't actually give a shit. This is just bullshit because they were like, "Oh, we're running against or Trump's running against Biden. You know, we're up against Biden. Okay, this is going to be easy because he's a fucking doddering old man with dementia." But now Kamala's stepping in, and they're like, "Oh shit!" Like, this isn't fair.
I don't know why the Republicans aren't happy that they didn't choose a better Democrat, other than like, you know, like they chose literally like the second worst Democrat. Like, I know Joe isn't very good at speaking, you know, because Parkinson's, sundowning, whatever the fuck you want to say he has, dementia. But
he has the old
Kamala Harris. Yeah, Kamala Harris is not a good speaker. She's terrible.
The thing is, though, the bar has been lowered so much that compared to Biden, she is like fucking Obama, like times 12. You know what I mean?
Like, you could steamroll Trump.
I saw a video of Kyle Kulinski earlier today, and he was reacting to Pete Buttigieg on, I think it was Bill Maher, kind of doing like a very basic kind of takedown of JD Vance and Mike Pence and comparing, contrasting, you know, like, oh, basically saying, you know, JD Vance, you know, in a polite way, he was kind of like, yeah, he kind of sucks. And look at what happened with Pence. They're trying to hang him on January 6th. You know, JD Vance, good luck with that. Hope that doesn't happen to you. Haha. And Biden being the fucking president of the United States and him being like chief diplomat.
Mm-hmm.
Just having him be this senile old fuck has lowered the bar so much that Kyle like watched this video of Pete Buttigieg and he's like, "Oh my God, Pete Buttigieg just smoked fucking JD Vance." And it's like, yeah, he kind of made like decent points, but at the same time, and we're just like, holy shit, this is crazy. But it's just like a relative thing. because of
I
how
remember-
fucking garbage things are now.
Do you actually? I think JD Vance, before Biden dropped out, JD Vance actually challenged Kamala to a vice presidential debate. But I guess that's not happening now.
Now Trump
guess
has to debate her.
Yeah, I wonder who she's going to choose for her VP pick.
People are saying, I believe the guy's name is Andy Bashir.
Andy Bashir.
I think I might be mixing up two people's names there, but
He's one of the 4 candidates being vetted by Harris.
Bashir, is this like a Indian surname? Like
No.
I don't believe so.
the only Bashir I've ever heard of is like Dr. Bashir from
On Star Trek, yeah, Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine. You knew where I was going with that.
Oh yeah, I instantly knew.
Yeah.
Speaking of the candidates, we have another truth here from Donald Trump. The Democrats picked a candidate, crooked Joe Biden. He loses the debate badly, then panics and makes mistake after mistake, is told he can't win, and decide they will pick another candidate, probably Harris. They stole the race from Biden after he won it in the primaries. A first. These people are the real threat to democracy.
So wait, I thought like they didn't even have primaries in certain states. Yeah,
They didn't.
So like they just chose Biden to just be the like. Of course he's going to win the primary anyway. So why even have a primary?
It almost seems like Trump is sympathetic to Biden. Like they stole it from him.
Biden, come back, please.
Well,
I love you.
He wants to run against Biden because he views it as like a slam dunk. Now he's like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
I spent all this money on you, Biden. It's like being in a toxic relationship with a woman, you know. You like having a toxic girlfriend that you just like dump money into. Like you put a lot of work into the relationship, but you know it's toxic.
What do they call it? The lost cause fallacy or whatever? Sunk cost fallacy.
Cost.
Yeah. We both got it at the same time there. I love it. Hold on. Let me grab some water and then we'll read this last one here, this last tweet. Then we'll move on to other stuff.
He's trying to say Biden doesn't remember quitting the race. Okay, on one hand, Trump is saying, you should step down, Sleepy Joe. And then he's saying, wait, don't step down yet. Please, just lose to me. I need you. I love you. You can come over. You could sniff my hair. Please. What are your thoughts on this current situation? Do you think it's all just cope? Do you think that there's any reason that Joe Biden should continue to run for president? Do you think that the Democratic voters have been snubbed for a less democratic way of picking a leader?
No, absolutely not. It's literally what should happen, you know? Like, this shit's a fucking relief. Biden needs to go. He's 81. He's lost a real considerable amount of, like, his, like, faculties.
Yeah.
He's way too fucking old. He's nearing, like, fucking nursing home age.
He is nursing home age. Like, he's shitting his pants in front of the Pope. And I think some other leaders he shit his pants in front of, too. He's going to bed at 8 p.m. That's how you know you're old.
Yeah. Like, the people, at my fucking work, that's when the residents, like, head to bed is around, like, closing time.
You call dinner supper now.
Yeah.
You wear slippers everywhere.
They call the golf cart the Surrey.
The Surrey?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's a regional thing. My grandpa had like a golf cart. He called it a mule.
Carriage pulled by like horses, right?
That's crazy. That's how old these fucks are. They can remember like being ridden around in horse-drawn carriages.
I guess like so before boomers it was the silent generation.
I think it was the greatest generation, the silent generation, the baby boomers. Or I think it might have been the greatest generation, the baby boomers, the silent generation. Then I think maybe Gen X, and then we get to millennial, Gen Z, and then I think Gen
Alpha.
Have you? I know we're talking about old people, but have you talked to someone who's like 12? You know, like a 12-year-old. You know.
No.
I have like nieces and nephews who are around that age, and the brain rot is real. Like,
Is it really? I have no
yeah,
clue.
like
I know some people
Just-
with kids, and I've heard like they'll just be talking like "Skibbity Riz my Phantom Tax, no cap fam." Like they'll just speak in
in brain
gibberish
rot. Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
That's how we know we're old, is we just can't keep up with like the lingo of today's youth. But
So-
I saw a Dunkin' ad today, a Dunkin' Donuts commercial on YouTube, and they were trying to do the skibbity toilet, whatever, riz up, goon,
Uh,
shit. And it's just
Wait, did they
It's
say
just a bunch of-
did they say goon?
they didn't say goon, but they said a bunch
Okay,
of
I was gonna say.
they said a bunch of brain rot internet words, and it's just a bunch of boomers saying it.
I've heard some people draw parallels to stuff from the late 2000s to early 2010s. Montage parodies, lol, XD, so random, to Spork of Doom type shit, lol cats. And I feel like there's something there when it comes to those comparisons, but there's something weird and kind of sinister about modern day brain rot. Maybe that's just me being a boomer. I don't know. Like, these systems that the brain rot is being delivered through are fundamentally different now. They've changed. They've evolved.
Yeah, it's remember when people were like reviewing memes? I think like I remember like the Anthony Fantano's like
Yes.
meme review.
What was
Yeah,
that
there was, like,
channel
a-
called? It was
that is the
It
plan.
was just called
Yes.
either That Is the Plan, or I think it was renamed to just Fantano.
no, that's
That Is the
actually a
Plan
different
got taken
channel.
down. Yeah,
Okay.
Fantano is different.
But
Yeah.
I remember he would review memes, and I liked it actually.
I love that.
I thought they were awesome. Yeah, I thought that
Yeah.
show was awesome. I was actually so fucking pissed, and I wasn't pissed at him. I was pissed at whoever was like striking his videos, because I think people were like striking reporting his videos or something like that.
There was a hit piece article on the Fader.
Oh
like,
yeah,
about
yeah, I
how
remember. Yeah,
yeah. It's
I
right
find
around the time when like YouTube was starting to like demonetize shit.
I find
like,
it
left
so.
and right.
Yeah, I find it so strange that so many people have such a burning hatred of Anthony Fantano, when I've seen some of his music reviews over the years. You know, I watched That Is the Plan and whatnot. I don't really find there to be anything substantial enough to like hate him for. I feel
Yeah,
like
it's
a lot of
literally just his opinion. Like
what
the
I was
worst-
gonna say is that most
Pretty
people,
fair.
yeah, what I was gonna say is that most people are just getting mad because they like an album, and he's like, I thought it was crap, or I thought it was okay, nothing special, or whatever, and they're like, fuck you, Anthony Fantano.
yeah,
Hey,
it's like
Melonhead, you didn't validate me.
You gave this album a 7. What the hell's wrong with you? It's like 7 is not a fucking bad score.
No,
especially by Fantano's metric.
yeah,
Like he'll give a pretty good album like a 6.
yeah.
Anyways,
Oh, but you'll
we are-
give Death Grips, the money store, you'll give that a 10 out of 10.
breaking news: local man has his own opinions. Like, it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's
Local
get back
man.
to this though. We've digressed quite a bit, but it's okay because we can
Yeah,
edit
just
around
spice
it.
some of that, yeah.
It's a new day, and Joe Biden doesn't remember quitting the race yesterday. This is another truth from Donald Trump. He is demanding his campaign schedule. Wait, this is written very strangely. He is demanding his campaign schedule and arranging talks with Presidents Xi of China and Putin of Russia concerning the possible start of World War III. Biden is, quote, sharp, decisive, energetic, angry, and ready to go.
He types like an AI.
Doesn't even
Chat GPT, like, but it's like less coherent.
that doesn't even read like a Trump tweet or truth or whatever. Very strange. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it was the incident that happened with him recently. War
Do you think
changes.
he's kind of traumatized?
He's probably he's on fucking opiates.
I did hear
Yeah.
quite a bit of commentary from people saying that he seemed off at the RNC.
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely on like opiates.
Like,
Didn't he play? Didn't he like play like opera music to like end his speech or something? That's something I heard.
Yes.
Usually-
People are very confused by this, but I don't think those people understand that Donald Trump is a fucking massive queen. He loves opera. Like, he doesn't give a fuck if other people think it's weird. Like, he just loves opera.
It's very stereotypically a rich person to just
Yeah.
love opera.
Well, he's also from New York. You know, they have a lot of theaters
Mhm.
there. people coming and performing and whatnot.
I love the theater. I love performances. I love to be entertained.
All right.
I'm quite a fan of Macbeth.
I remember I was friends with a young man. His name was Bruce Wayne when I was a kid, and he left one day, and then his parents were dead. I never heard from him again. I don't know what happened to him. He's very busy, very playboyish.
All right.
Unrelated, there's a guy jumping from rooftop to rooftop dressed as a bat.
We got to move this along a little bit because we don't have too much time left. So we're going to save some of these stories for the next episode. But one thing I do want to talk about here is Pierre, Poilievre, whatever the fuck this asshole's name is. I prefer to call him Pepe Le Pew. It's my nickname for him.
One of your nuts.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some Canadian news now. So if you want to tune out, then go ahead with that, I guess.
Can I analyze this tweet real quick?
Sure, I have it pulled up on the screen here. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Legalizing crack. So, okay, are they legalizing crack or are they just decriminalizing crack?
No one's legalizing crack.
Okay, I meant to say decriminalizing, though. Are they decriminalizing a certain amount of drugs?
No, hold up. Fuck giving this guy even a tiny bit of credit. He put in his tweet, legalizing crack. So legalizing and decriminalizing, as you were trying to, I guess, ascertain there, those are two distinctly different things. However, neither of those things are happening. And specifically, what he says here in the tweet is, I'll just read the rest of it because it's not a very long tweet. He says, legalizing crack, banning plastic straws. Welcome to Trudeau's wacky world. Obviously, Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada. Another thing, too, is that Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, is pushing conservative stuff really hard, I've noticed. So whenever I go on there...
Stop using it.
Yeah, his tweets are popping up. I eventually just had to block this guy because I'm like, I don't want to see his fucking stupid shit. Because like the reason I screenshotted this is because this and other shit that he was tweeting out was popping up in my feed. I'm like, what the fuck?
Banning plastic straw.
Also, conservatives are really triggered by these pieces of legislation or whatever, bylaws, whatever they might be, banning not only plastic straws, but single-use plastic packaging, in a lot of instances, plastic bags. So I'll give you an example of that. Where I live, at least, the municipality in the province I live in, Ontario, you can't get in these stores around here a plastic bag. They will give you a reusable bag or a paper bag.
I always forget to grab mine.
It's like
go to the store.
It's like going to Aldi. Aldi has only either paper bags that you have to pay for, but they're like a couple cents per bag. And usually when you go to the store, they're pretty big bags. Like you only need 5 of them if you're getting a pretty big haul. Or you can buy a reusable bag and get 2-3 big reusable bags and still carry as many groceries as you would carry. You can carry double the amount that you would be able to in a paper bag. But have you ever used a paper straw before?
Yes.
They're not bad. And you only really ever use a plastic straw for as long as you have your drink. And typically I drink my drinks, moderately fast. So oh, hey, it's been an hour. I'm done with this, I guess 20-ounce soda. Time to throw it away.
I hear people complaining about, the plastic straws, they'll kind of get soggy and, sorry, not the plastic straws, the paper straws will get soggy. Really? And I'm just thinking, how long are you leaving that drink sitting there for? Because you just said a moment ago, I usually drink my drinks pretty fucking quickly when I get them. I'll eat my food, wash it down with a drink. There's no time there typically for the straw to get soggy. And I typically get a small drink too, so that's gone pretty quickly because I don't want to drink a fucking several dozen ounces of soda. This is god awful for you.
These are thick cardboard straws, and also I think the cardboard straw would probably last longer than the paper cup that you have. The bottom of the paper cup will just explode before the plastic or the paper straw will.
Well, I do have to give a lot of places like McDonald's some credit. It seems like over the years they've kind of reinforced the bottom of those cups. The thing is too, you're in America, and I've noticed that American McDonald's fucking sucks. When I was recently in America, I had McDonald's in Canada before I went to America because I was like, I want to see what the taste difference is. I want to have it fresh in my mind. So I had McDonald's, basically went to the fucking airport, went to America, and then I had a fucking, what do they call it? A layover at the airport. And I was in a really nice Detroit airport waiting to go to another state on another flight. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try McDonald's. And I had the same thing, which is basically kind of like a double cheeseburger. And one thing I noticed is that American McDonald's tastes so fucking bland. It is insane. Even just like the beef that we have here in Canada that's used in the burgers, it's so much more flavorful. Like, I don't know, man. It's fucking mental. It tastes like crap in America.
And it costs more now.
I know.
Like, it's not even worth it anymore. Like,
I know we were shitting on TikTok, but I have to bring up another TikTok I saw. I saw a woman complaining about how the pickle slice she had was thicker than the beef patty she had. I saw that. Yeah. I think I might have posted in the Discord, but yeah, that's how shitty American McDonald's is. American McDonald's used to be like good. Used to be, but like over the years with shrinkflation and prices go up, but like the prices have gone up and the portion size has just gone smaller and smaller and smaller. Like if I ate like 2 quarter pounders or 2 McDoubles, I don't think I'd be full.
Well, no, it almost seems like they designed the food intentionally like that, where there's a lot of calories, but you're not really getting any nutrition and it's not filling you up. So like you said, you can eat a decent amount of it. Yeah, you can eat a decent amount of it and then end up ingesting in like one meal, I guess you could potentially call it, like over 1,000 calories. And you still feel hungry.
Like a soda and a fry and like a double quarter pounder is like 1,500 calories, somewhere around there. It's like 1,000 to 1,500 calories. And you have multiple people every day going to McDonald's like on their way to work because they don't have time to cook food or do meal prep or whatever because their jobs, only give them like a half hour for a lunch. It's just like another way that like society is just slowly killing you, making you unhealthy, making you fatter. There was a story I wanted to talk about before we go, and this is because the show's called Evil Planet. There was a story about astronauts that are currently stuck in
I have it here.
Orbit. Yeah,
I was gonna save it for the next episode, but we can just talk about it now.
Yeah. So because of everything that's currently going on right now with like the election and like the war in Gaza and the attempt to assassinate President Trump. A lot of things have been happening recently. As a lot of people are saying, like, we're living through history, quote unquote. And then you have stuff like this that, like, I feel like 20 years ago would have been a much bigger story.
Yeah, so the title of this, or the headline for this article is Fixing Boeing's Leaky Starliner and Returning NASA's Stranded Astronauts to Earth is much harder than it sounds. Yeah, good old Boeing. Let's read maybe the first 2 or 3 paragraphs here, maybe 4. Some of these are shorter. For the past few weeks, NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams have been stuck on the International Space Station after the first crewed voyage of Boeing's new Starliner spacecraft hit a snag. Concerns raised by Boeing and NASA over thruster problems and several helium leaks have prevented the craft from making the return journey as scheduled. NASA has now said that the astronauts may have to stay put until the next scheduled crew switchover in August, potentially on another ship. Boeing and NASA are trying to put a positive spin on the extension by saying they are testing systems required for longer missions. But the project has already suffered several delays, having originally been set to lift off for the first time with crew in 2017. Holy shit. Yeah, a lot of these space programs have crazy delays, which is understandable because it's very delicate, complex, intricate stuff.
You don't want another Challenger.
No, you don't. I actually saw something interesting recently, which is also very disturbing, which is that the astronauts and whatnot who were in that disaster were probably alive until they made contact with the ground or the water.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, that's what killed them. That's what they're saying anyways, which is, really disturbing. Starliner was noted as having a small helium leak before it even launched.
Wow.
Yeah, this fucking Boeing, right?
Dude, what was the aircraft? Or not the aircraft. It was like their jumbo jet that they were. They essentially they tried to like
747 Max. Something like that.
What they tried to do is they tried to like move the position of the engines to like have larger engines so that they could fly faster, so they could compete with one of their competitors. And what ended up happening was they ended up having to also mess with the software too, that kept the plane from, I guess, like tilting up or tilting down, right?
Yeah, it kind of keeps the plane, I guess you might say, balanced and not kind of fucking flailing around in the air.
The thing is, like, why wouldn't you just, if you wanted these bigger engines and you didn't want them to like drag against the ground on takeoff, why wouldn't you just make your wheels bigger or whatever? You know, those the struts for the wheels, whatever they're called. It just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Yeah, and they ended up killing a whistleblower, like assassinating a whistleblower because of this.
Allegedly, yeah. I think at this point there's multiple whistleblowers who have mysteriously died before being able to testify.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's 2 or more. So I'm trying to look for the specifications here, but it's just a giant clusterfuck.
Boeing is just like, as a company, is a giant clusterfuck.
Oh,
actually, what we should cover next episode 2 is the crosshatch, or not hack, but it was CrowdStrike. Yeah, the patch that ended up like fucking up like a lot of businesses that run Windows, right?
Yeah, we can get into more detail in the next episode about it, but essentially, from what I've heard, CrowdStrike is an anti-ransomware software. So a lot of places like banks, airports, hospitals, they had CrowdStrike installed. And it had auto updates going out. And the most recent update was completely broken. And it basically had, to put it extremely simply, it had an error when the computer was booted up. It basically went into a loop where, in order to stop the whole system from crashing, the computer had to restart. And then it would just restart and restart and restart and just blue screen. Wow. And they had to push out and it basically came down to, once again, to oversimplify it, it came down to just bad code.
Yeah, I know a few things about bad code. I've written a pretty good amount of bad code.
Yeah, I think that's it for today, though. I don't know if we got anything else we want to talk about before we head out.
I guess we could talk about Stephen Bonnell.
Well, what is there to talk about?
What about him?
He's a cuck. I don't really care about people's, personal politics typically, because, at the end of the day, I understand that like most normal people don't have any sway in government, and they don't really affect people on a large scale. Like I understand, like one person, one vote, a group of people voting, it can actually do stuff, the power in numbers. I get that. But like just one single person having a shit take doesn't like ruin my day, doesn't make me angry. Even like family members too. Like I've got a lot of like right-wing family members. I grew up in the South my entire life, and
do they like resent you for your political beliefs, or do you just not talk to them about it?
I just don't talk to them ever about politics, because I understand what their politics are, and I don't want, I don't think you should talk about politics with family members unless they're like really close family members. I don't think you should post your political ideas like on Facebook, on your social media where your family members can see them. Because I just don't want that beef with them. I don't want them to, I just don't want them to, think of me in a way that I don't want them to see me. You know what I mean? Like I don't bring up any like atheist bullshit like around my family either, because like I know how they're going to feel about it. I want to be polite, and I want to be able to interact with them without them feeling uncomfortable.
I mean, I get where you're coming from to an extent, but I don't know. That's just not. It's not the way I feel when it comes to people in my family. Like, I definitely try to get along with them to an extent, but if they start going off about, some stupid fucking political shit, then I'm basically just gonna respond pretty bluntly with just almost exactly how I feel.
Okay.
I might phrase it a little differently than I'd like to because
You're trying to be polite.
maybe I don't know about I don't give a fuck about being polite, but I might curse a little less or try and be a little more tactful with how I'm approaching talking about certain things because I'm legitimately trying to get them to see that what they're saying is stupid.
Yeah.
But I hate this thing. This is a big reason I think why there's such a hard swing right happening in a lot of places right now is because a lot of people who are nominally on the left would prefer to, I think you're saying, they'd rather just get along with people and just chill and not be stressed out.
Especially your family,
because a lot of older people, ergo your family, ergo potential authority figures, or maybe if you're younger or even under 18, your parents that you might be living with, because a lot of them are conservative, it's almost like, oh yeah, I have to put up with this. They can say whatever the fuck they want, and I just have to go, oh yeah, okay. And and I just did that as a younger person for a while, and eventually just reached a point where I'm like,
you
fuck
gotta
it.
have boundaries, yeah.
No, it's not even a bound. Sorry, not to cut you off, but it's not even a boundary thing for me. It's more of a thing where it's like, why do I have to hold my tongue when I'm giving my opinion on politics because you don't like it? I don't like what you're saying about politics. Why the fuck do I have to let you fucking steamroll everyone else and talk about your stupid fucking right-wing bullshit just because you see it as the fucking the expectation or the standard or the baseline for people to think the stupid shit that you think? I don't, you know what I mean? It's I don't know.
I feel the same way, but I make exceptions for work and I make exceptions for family. If I'm
I think it depends on your relationship.
My family relationship is I get along with them, they enjoy seeing me, but if they ask me what I actually thought of things, I would be honest with them, but I'm not just gonna pipe up when there's a group of them just chudding it up, I'm not gonna interject and be like, well, actually, that's not actually true. That's not logical.
You just leave the room and go do something else.
Yeah, because at that point, I just feel like Stephen Bonnell. At that point, I don't want to feel like Stephen Bonnell.
Well,
wait.
See, that's the thing, though. That's what I was referring to when I said having more tact instead of just saying exactly what you're thinking. You might phrase it a little differently.
Yeah, but here's the thing: when people
in doing that, a lot of times, what I found too is in doing that, you can catch people off guard, and then as depending on how you phrase things, depending on your tone, depending on where you try and lead the conversation, depending on whether because you can react to somebody saying some stupid right-wing bullshit, and you can get mad, and you can go, well, actually, and do the fucking Ben Shapiro or Destiny type thing, whatever, or what you can do is be maybe a little bit more. I don't know what the right word.
You're saying is don't get triggered and just don't start spouting at the mouth.
Well, sure, but what I'm saying too is you can say something and fuck with the phrasing to the point where you're more kind of, instead of trying to be like, let me correct you because you're an idiot. You can pretty much you can make the same point, but the way that you make the point is more well, here's this. This doesn't make sense. You're saying this, how does that make sense? I'm trying to understand here. Tell me how you figure this.
I used to do that with my dad, right?
Yeah.
When he was still, alive and he was still kicking, I used to do that with my dad because me and my dad used to fight all the time. My dad used to lay epic pwn me. Liberal tears. He used to lay epic pwn, liberal tears me, because I was a lib at a certain, I was a lib and then I became a lefty. And I remember not fully understanding why I believed what I believed, but I understood enough to believe it, if that makes any sense. Like I couldn't argue for it. I couldn't coherently argue for it, and I couldn't just rebut any bullshit that he just pulls out of his ass from like Facebook, right?
Well, that's why a lot of those Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk go to a college and epic pwn liberals. That's why a lot of that is so stupid, because you have one person who has been training for years, going to the fucking debate club or whatever, and trying to hone their rhetoric to the point where it doesn't matter if they're making a good point. They're just they're fucking throwing out this and that. They're overloading the other person with information, and the other person maybe they lack the articulation or the training to properly respond. You know, sometimes somebody can slip a concept past you, and if you're not used to arguing these things and debating these things, then a lot of the time you might not even notice that, and then you just get overwhelmed with like, oh, this and that. Like there's this one guy who's fucking constantly trying to argue with me and other people, and he does that. He just constantly is like, well, this history text and this and that and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's just like overloading the other person with bullshit so that they can't even respond to each thing that you're saying.
I want to finish on one point. As my dad got older and I got older, and I started to like actually like my brain started to mature, and I started to think more about like politics, and I started to actually listen to people talk more about politics. I started like circling, like putting my dad into loops, basically.
Yes.
And it pissed him off, and I don't want to do that with like not my. I did it with my dad because you know my dad is my dad. But I don't want to do that with like my uncles or whatever, because I don't want them to, you know, I want to be cordial with them because like I only see them like, I don't know, like around Christmas time. So I'm just here to like, I'm here to enjoy the holiday, you know?
Yeah.
Not here to debate bro people.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like I really don't in those situations try and initiate that stuff. But if other people start going off about some stupid fucking political shit, then basically my mind just switches into like, all right, we're doing this now. Okay. You want to start talking about politics? Let's do it. Let's talk about politics. All right. I think we might as well just end it there too. We got about 90 minutes of raw audio. We'll cut it down.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tryptamine, for coming on. We will reconvene again soon. I'll edit this and have it up. And yeah, we'll see you guys later. I think that's all for tonight. You guys have a good one.